Hey guys, I am Pixel Dan, and today we're gonna dive into checking out Wave 2 of Turtles of Grayskull from Mattel. It's that really fun Masters of the Universe and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover that I've really been enjoying so far. I was pleasantly surprised by the first wave of figures, and now we've already got a whole new wave to take a look at. So today in this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the 4 basic figures from Wave 2, which includes Raphael, the hard-headed Psy specialist, Shredder, the evil master of ninjutsu, Ram Man, the mutated battering ram, and Beast Man, the undercover henchman. So these continue the look of the brand new card backs we saw with the first wave of this toy line, which I gotta say, I think these are gorgeous. The colors on here just pop so much, and it's got that beautiful artwork. On the villain cards, you can see Skeletor and Shredder at the top, while on the heroic cards, you can see He-Man and Leonardo up there. And at the bottom of the blister bubble, it's got both the MOTU and TMNT logos, which is pretty cool. So the back of all of these figure packages will give us some details on the figures themselves. Of course, we do have a cross-sell showing you all the figures in the first wave, but then above that, in the same style as what we've seen with all of the Masters of the Universe Origins figures, we've got some awesome artwork there. So on the back of Shredder's packaging, we can see Shredder doing battle with Splinter, which is pretty awesome to see. Hopefully that means Splinter is coming in this line at some point. I have a feeling that's probably what that means. And you can see at the bottom there, it even gives you a little bit of insight into the motivations of this particular version of the character. All Shredder wanted to do was eliminate the Turtles once and for all. Unfortunately, Krang's plan to harness the most powerful force in the universe backfired and flung them to planet Eternia, where Shredder encounters an interesting new ally. Skeleton! Fun stuff. I don't know. I love that we've got a story with these figures. So looking at the back side of Raphael's packaging, we've got this amazing artwork with Raphael and his Ram Man inspired armor doing battle with the new Slash and Faker hybrid. Slaker? I have no idea how to pronounce that. We do long A, short A. I don't know. But fun artwork nonetheless. Snake Mountain in the background there. Slaker is going to be one of the deluxe figures in this particular line, who I believe is exclusive to Target. I guess we'll see how that goes. The back of Beastman's packaging has this version of Beastman doing battle with the Mutated Mossman. Mutated Mossman is, I believe, the deluxe figure for Wave 2, and I believe he's a Walmart exclusive, and as far as I know, he has not gone up for sale or been found yet, so that's fun. Hopefully he won't be too terribly hard to find, but Walmart exclusive, blah. And then the back of Ram Man's packaging. I love this artwork. You can see the ooze pit here, which, man, I'm going to say it again, Mattel. I want that playset. Give me the ooze pit playset. But of course, the villains are using the ooze pit to mutate heroes. So you can see Mossman and He-Man are tied up. They're next to be mutated. And Ram Man has already been mutated. You can see Krang in his Megator-inspired android armor back there. Really amazing stuff. And these mutated heroes, they're fun looking. I love this Ram Man especially. So let's not waste any more time. Let's open these up and take a closer look at the figures. Okay, so before we start looking at the figures, I do want to take a moment to go over the new mini comic that comes with Wave 2, just because I'm very interested in the story that they're weaving to explain the reason why the Turtles are hanging out on Eternia. So, jumping into the second comic here, it's called Belly of the Beast Man. And this is a pretty fun one. Well, first of all, Look at the front here. I think this is the first time we've seen Skeletor in this Shredder-like armor that he's wearing. So I imagine when we get the Skeletor figure reveal, it'll be something similar to that. Now, this story opens up exactly where the last one left off. If you remember, they asked who He-Man was. So now we've got Man-at-Arms explaining to Michelangelo who He-Man is by basically recreating the opening of the Filmation animated series, which is hilarious. At this moment, though, Beastman shows up. They quickly dispatch of him, but then he tells them that he's on their side in this. And now he gives sort of the evil warrior's perspective to Krang and Shredder showing up on Eternia. We got that backstory in the last issue from the Turtles and how they got here. But now we're hearing about it from the evil warrior's side, with Skeletor seeing that these guys have something powerful that he could probably use and manipulate. So I do like the idea that Skeletor is still, you know, doing what he feels he needs to do to get what he wants. Cool stuff. So Beastman basically explains that he ran away because he knew that he would be next. He saw them mutate He-Man and Mossman and Ram Man, and he knows that Trapjaw's getting mutated and he doesn't want to be mutated, so he runs away to get help from the heroic warriors. This is where Beastman is given his samurai armor, but the Turtles and the heroic warriors know that they shouldn't trust Beastman, so they also put a tracker in this armor. And then they ask Beastman to lead them to where the evil warriors and Shredder are putting together this scheme of theirs. So, of course, they end up in a trap, just like the heroic warriors expected. Beastman tricked them and led them right to the spot where mutated He-Man is finally revealed to them. They are shocked to see the way He-Man looks. He's rabid and uncontrollable. And at this point, we get the reveal of Metal Botto, which is the hybrid of Roboto and Metalhead that Donatello built. And he comes in to assist the heroic warriors. And at this point, the heroes and the Turtles say, well, you know what we need to do? There's only one place we can get answers to our problems. We need to reverse engineer the mutagens so that we can save He-Man and our friends. It's time to go to Castle Grayskull. And that is where this issue ends. This is a lot of fun. I think it's really cool that we've got an actual story that's being told here. Again, I said that before. It's not just like your typical mashup. Like, they tried to create a reason for these characters to exist in the same world. And so far, it's pretty fun. Let's go and look at these toys now. All right, let's go ahead and start things off by taking a look at Raphael, best turtle. I said what I said. So this is our third turtle in the Turtles of Grayskull lineup. And if you're new to these, just to bring in the tape measure here, you can see that the figures do stand just shy of 6 inches tall. Technically, they're in that 5.5 scale of the vintage Masters of the Universe line. And the bodies, even on the Turtles, are still built on the same type of base as what we've come to expect from Masters of the Universe Origins. Raphael has got his Masters of the Universe theme by wearing armor that is inspired by Ram Man, which is a really nice touch for Raphael since he is the hard-headed turtle of the bunch. Pretty fun stuff. So with the armor here, the helmet on Raphael is removable, which is something that I do really appreciate. So the head sculpt is very similar to that of Leonardo's, but just to bring Leo in here, I want to show you that they are unique head sculpts. Raphael's got a completely closed mouth, while Leonardo has got the gritting teeth on one side. So they are unique head sculpts for the Turtles, which is something that I do appreciate. The sculpt of the Ram Man helmet is awesome. I love how the top of it is red and has a bit of a turtle shell motif to it. And of course, the bandana is also articulated on this figure, just like we saw with Leo before. The armor that he's wearing over his shoulders, again, also inspired by Ram Man, though you'll notice he also has this red turtle shell shoulder pad over here on the left, and on the back of his armor is his turtle shell. This is just like we saw with Donnie and Leo already, where the turtle shell is a separate piece. It plugs into the back of that armor, and it can be removed, and it has a handle so that the figure can hold it as a shield if you want to. Honestly, I think this is one of my least favorite design choices with these figures, because it's very weird to me that they would rip their shells off and use them as shields. Plus, that means that there's really no way to display them with their shells on unless they are wearing the armor. So the armor here should just pull right off over the top of the figure. If we remove the head from the ball joint, we can remove that Ram Man armor there. And then the shoulder pad is also a separate piece that we could pop down off of the arm as well. But the thing is once you pull that armor off there, there's nowhere to put the shell on the figure's back. If you've already got Leo and Donnie, you already know this, but they've just got this sculpted, smaller shell on the back of the torso that's unpainted, it's green, and I think it's a bit of a bummer that we don't have a way to attach the turtle shells on the naked figures here. They have to be wearing their armor. Even with that design choice, I still think these are really well-made figures. You notice that I did the head popping off of the ball joint. You can also pull the arms out of socket at the shoulders. You can also pull the torso apart at the waist. This is where you can also remove that belt piece if you want to, though he is wearing He-Man styled furry underwear underneath that. You can pop the hands out of socket and you can pop the boots off as well, so they're fully interchangeable, just like the Masters of the Universe Origins toy line, and the articulation fits in with that as well. Ball joint at the head means movement can roll around there. The arms can move forwards and backwards as well as go outwards. It is worth noting that the shell shoulder pad is going to hinder just a little bit because it bumps into the Ram Man armor that he's wearing there. This right arm here just keeps popping out of socket. There we go. So you can see how the arm goes outwards, forwards, backwards, slightly hindered by the armor there. Swivel at the elbow, bend at the elbow, swivel at the wrist, hinge at the wrist, twist at the waist. Legs can go outwards, forwards, backwards, swivel at the knee, bend at the knee, swivel at the boot cut, and the ankles can move forwards, backwards, as well as rock side to side. So again, sturdy, really nice fluid articulation, exactly what we've come to expect from Masters of the Universe Origins, and it fits really well with the Turtles. I think the designs are awesome. I like how bright and colorful they are there. Raphael looks really, really cool. Let me go ahead and put his turtle shell back on his armor here, and then that's gonna bring us to the weapons. So they've also got modified versions of their signature weapons. Raphael's sais are interesting. All the weapons are big and like oversized in this line, it feels like. So he has one sai that is basically like a big giant sword now. And the other sai is really interesting because it's almost like a gauntlet with a sai attached to it. You can even see like there's a little metal turtle fist there. So this is designed to just fit right over the hand, the right hand there. And now we've got this armed up Raphael with a very interesting twist on his classic sais. All in all, this is a really fun figure. I think these designs are awesome. It's fun and unique and it's different and they look really good together. So this is now our third turtle, with Michelangelo being the only one that's missing. But I love seeing how bright and colorful these guys look. I mean, they look awesome standing together there. I can't wait to complete the quartet by adding Mikey to the bunch. All right, so that's going to bring us over here to Beast Man. So I got to be honest here, with the first wave, when I saw Man at Arms revealed, I thought he looked a little bland. But then he turned out to be a sleeper hit from the first wave. I loved him. I was hoping the same thing would happen here with Beastman, but I kind of feel like Beastman is one of the least impressive of the Turtles of Grayskull figures so far. And I'm going to explain why. First of all, let's just go ahead and take a look at this guy. So the thing that makes him stand out is the fact that he's got this new samurai armor. And to give credit where it's due, the armor is fantastic. I love the metallic blue and gold colors. I think it looks really awesome. You can see it up here on the shoulders. And that helmet design is very, very cool. I love the face on there. I love all the intricate sculpted details. It is removable so that you can just see regular Beastman underneath that. And again, colors are awesome on here. I love how metallic and everything this looks. But this is where my disappointment comes in. Let's do a comparison time. And this is the standard Masters of the Universe Origins Beastman over here alongside this new Turtles of Grayskull version, where you can see he's basically exactly the same figure. The head sculpts are exactly the same. The armor is the same, albeit with a little bit of an extra deco with the gold being in the center there. Everything about this guy seems to be the same. They just added this new samurai armor. And you can technically just take that all off too. Like, you can detach him at the waist. You can pull this off. You can see he's got the standard blue Beastman furry loincloth underneath that there. So essentially what they did is they just took the already existing Beastman and they just added these new armor bits there. So he is not as dynamic as I was hoping for. In fact, you'll see he still even has just the regular sock feet with no details. This would have been a great opportunity to give us a Beastman with sculpted clawed toes instead of the weird sock feet like the vintage figure. And a new head sculpt would have been awesome. Maybe something with an open mouth, something that looked a little bit more fierce. You can see the paint deco is slightly different, like the orange comes down on the nose on the new one here, but the sculpt themselves do appear to be identical to each other. Slight paint differences, but same sculpt. So I'm a bit bummed out that we didn't get something a little bit more creative or just some new parts. He does have 2 gripping hands instead of 1 open hand. So very, very minor changes, but not as drastic as I was hoping for. I think new feet and a new head sculpt would have made me a lot happier here. Now, for his accessories, he comes with one of those shields that is kind of styled like a turtle shell. Very interestingly, it's got pegs on it like it would plug in somewhere, but he doesn't actually have anywhere for the armor or the shield to plug onto on his back. So it is just a shield that he can hold onto, which is why he has 2 gripping hands now, because he also comes with a new version of his whip. Now, this is really cool. You can see it's like one of those metal bladed whips, which is neat. It's done in the same metallic blue as the armor that he's got there. So we can hold that in his other hand. We can put the helmet back on here. The helmet does slightly get in the way of the shoulder pads at times, but still, I think it's really cool looking. And that completes our look for Beastman. So I don't know, like, he's still a fun figure. I like the armor quite a bit. I just wish he was a little bit more new. I wish there was just a little bit more to him than what we got. So that's going to bring us to the Evil Shredder, a figure that I've been very excited for, and I am not disappointed at all here. I love the look of this figure. Shredder as if he appeared on Eternia in the Masters of the Universe format. So, a lot of fun stuff going on with this figure here. First of all, you might notice a really cool nod to the vintage Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles toy line in the way that he's got the black pants, he's got a purple harness that's shaped here very similar to the way his robe came over him, and he's shirtless underneath that, just like the original Shredder action figure. I think that is incredibly cool. However, instead of giving him blue armor, they went ahead and gave him the more common silver armor, which I definitely think was the right call. However, they did make his cape blue, and it makes me wonder if the blue cape is a nod to the fact that the vintage Shredder had blue armor. Maybe that's the case. I will say, I wish that this cape was purple. I wish that it kind of continued the purple of the armor there, because I feel like that would fit a lot more in line with what Shredder typically looks like, because purple is much more his color, just like Skeletor. So the blue cape almost feels a little out of place to me personally. I think purple would have looked a lot better here. I do love that the Foot Clan logo they're using on the armor is the Foot Clan logo from the 2003 Ninja Turtles series, which kind of continues what I talked about in the first wave, how even the Turtles have a bit of that 2K3 vibe to their appearance. So that's pretty fun stuff. Maybe it's that era of Ninja Turtles that's crossing over with MOTU. That's kind of fun to think about. The armor itself is even stylized. Like, look at all of the details. Like, you can see there's this really nice kind of pattern molded into the armor there, and even his helmet has got this really cool pattern going on there. It almost looks like he's got this like jaw on the front there. His eyes are glowing red underneath. I think it is a very cool look for the figure. Also worth noting that he's got Hordak style feet, which is very interesting as well. But I think this is an awesome looking figure. Now, he comes with 2 accessories, one of which is this very cool looking axe. Again, very stylized, kind of has like these blades on it, very similar to the armor that he wears, which is really cool. And interestingly, he comes with an Evil Horde crossbow. It's the same style vintage kind of crossbow that the Evil Horde figures came with in the original toy line, as well as with Origins here. Very interesting to see him rocking some Evil Horde weaponry. Skeletor can't be a fan of that. But all in all, Shredder, really fun figure. I like this one quite a bit. So that's going to bring me to what I personally think is the figure of the wave, and that is Mutated Ram Man. I love the idea of seeing some of the heroes from Eternia get mutated. This one right here feels the most Ninja Turtles like, with Ram Man being mutated into a ram mutant. That is a lot of fun. Though it does kind of continue their own signature styling, where their mutants kind of have this semi-translucent skin tone. So Ram Man's skin tone is like this purple here with the green veins painted on that you can see on his neck and up there on his biceps. But this is very cool. One thing I'm going to say too, big figure. Like, he stands taller than the other figures. He's a little over 6 inches, but he also just feels big and hefty, so much so that I'm surprised that he is a basic figure in the line, especially since Origins Ram Man was a deluxe figure. And look at Origins Ram Man standing next to Mutated Ram Man. Holy cow, Mutated Ram Man is huge in comparison. And you can see they didn't just recycle what they had over here with this Ram Man. He is all new. I mean, like, all of the budget for this wave must have went into giving us like new stuff going on here. It is incredibly cool to see. Now, I do believe that the arms are probably the same from that Ram Man, and I bet that the torso underneath here is recycled from the WWE Superstars line. I'm guessing somebody like Earthquake or Typhoon, one of the bigger guys. You can see over here the armor is removable on the sides. Let me just pop that off real quick so you guys can see it. So the head, of course, we want to pop off the ball joint, and then you can we can pull the arms out of socket to make it a little bit easier as well. But you can see he does have a different torso underneath there, which is a bit of a larger torso. So this is quite a bit different than the other Ram Man that we got. One of the things that I was wondering is if we can kind of match up parts here to create a bigger, almost more 2000X inspired Ram Man, and close, but not quite there. Of course, the arms do fit just fine if you want to swap the arms. But one of the areas where I really kind of ran into an issue, of course, is the fact that this torso is purple, and you can still see that torso even when the armor is on here. So let me just show you that real quick. So you would need to get a non-purple torso, maybe by stealing one from the WWE Superstars line. But also, if we take the head off of Origins Ram Man, it fits really weird on the neck of this figure. You can see it's up a little too high. It looks a little strange. And the other area that I ran into as a problem is down at the feet. You can remove the mutated legs down here. It is very, very difficult to do so, and you want to make sure you don't like break the feet articulation here. But I don't think that the boots are meant to come off of Origins Ram Man. These don't come off at all. They seem very glued. I was going to try to put those boots up here. It would definitely lower his size a little bit too, because these mutated legs add a lot of height, as you can see. So it's not quite there. I was really hoping that there could be something easy to do by swapping parts and creating a different looking Ram Man, but not quite there. Okay, apologies. I got completely derailed by talking about potential mixing and matching. So let's get back over here to the figure. I think he's incredible. I love the look of this. I love sort of like the mutated armor as well, because we got the added spikes. You got the big chain down here. You can see he's got a ram on his belt instead of the usual skull that he has on his belt there. Also, the studs are a little bit bigger on the skirt piece down here. And then he does have these mutant kind of ram legs as well, so you can see the way they're positioned like that. I will say on the articulation, the ankles are a little loose on here. You can see he does have some weight issues where sometimes he starts falling forward, so you kind of have to just find the right position where that doesn't happen. So I do wish those were a little bit tighter on there, but the overall look of this guy is fantastic. As far as his accessories go, he actually comes with the same accessories from the Origins Ram Man, being the classic axe, the single blade axe, and he's also got that new double blade axe, and they can be stuck together to create one larger weapon if you want. So he can hold that in his hands there. He's also got a holster in his back, which this one doesn't really seem to want to fit in there. I was very curious. So this one will fit better. It's almost like the holster on his back isn't the right size for either of these. Maybe with a little bit of work, there we go. I could fit that one in there a little bit better. Still a little loose on the smaller part of the axe, but still, I don't know. Overall, I do love the look of this guy. I have some minor quibbles, but I think as far as design goes, he is one of the best designs that we've seen in the line so far. And that now gives us two mutated heroes. And I do believe, like I said, that Deluxe Mossman should be showing up at some point here soon too, which would give us three mutated heroes in this line. So there you go, my friends. That is a look at the second wave of Turtles of Grayskull, minus the deluxe figure. As soon as I get a hold of that or find that or it gets released or whatever's going on with it, I'll definitely make sure we take a look at that as well. But so far, I'm having a lot of fun with this line. I think it's really neat seeing my two favorite properties mashed up, and they're doing some really cool things with these figures. In this particular wave, I think Ram Man and Shredder are my two personal favorites, but all the figures are pretty good. Beastman is definitely bottom of the list for the whole line so far for me personally, but what do you think? Do you agree with me? Do you find different qualities about Beastman that you really like? What are your thoughts on this line in general? Now is the chance to let me know. Sound off down in the comments. Thank you guys so very much for watching this video, and until next time, my friends.